Welcome to our 2022 Tracer 24 DDS. We're going to start right in the back bumper here. If you just kind of reach into that end, pull it out of there, you're going to find your sewer hose. Just take note of those two adapters there. That's all be hooking it up to your sewer system. And the hose itself, once fully extended, is about 20 feet long. Just keeping it stored in the back bumper back here just to help keep any sort of stench out of the unit, keep things that little bit fresher. And then that cap just presses into place. Taking a step down, you're going to find your power port here. So as you pop that on open, you're going to find a little notch in the bottom corner there. It's going to line up with this notch here. You're going to line those up and press it in, give it a little eighth turn, that'll lock it into place, and then you get the threaded collar in the back there to really lock it down. Following the cord back, you're going to find a standard 30 amp end there. Most campsites are going to have that. You can plug straight on in and you're good to go. We do also provide you with a 15 amp adapter, so if you're looking to go plug into a standard household outlet, you've got the power to do so. Back from there, you're going to find your sewer system. So you're just going to kind of take that cap and kind of press it in a little bit, and then you can turn it. Holy crap. There we go. Okay, you pull it off of there, and then you see it's got the same two ears that your sewer hose had, so that'll attach the same way. Pressing it in, giving it that turn until it clicks into place, and that's that. On the left you get a gray valve, on the right you get a black, so that black valve is controlling your black tank. Black tank is going to be filled from your toilet, so that's of course going to be your dirtiest water, so we'll dump that out first. Once that's done, you can then come to the gray. Gray tank is going to be filled from your sinks as well as your showers. So typically cleaner water, we'll dump that last to help keep that hose as clean as possible. The units here, so you can see that drain going right now. That is your freshwater tank drain in the front here. This one in the middle there is going to be a low point drain for your water system, as is the one in the back. Red and blue just signifying hot and cold. So the purpose of those would be if you're looking to drain this, if you're leaving the unit for a while and you don't want your water going stale or stagnant, you can open up those valves, allow the water system to drain itself out. Secondly would be for winterization. You just want to get all the water out before pumping antifreeze through. This little blue vent right there is just a vent for your freshwater tank. So once you start seeing water spit out of that, you know that tank is full. The fill up for that freshwater tank is in your storage compartment here. So you can see on the right side you got pretty well the entirety of your docking system. So up top you got that light there so you can see what you're doing. Off to the left of that is your solar panel plug-in. So you just take a Furion solar panel, plug it into there, charges your batteries. On the right side we get your cable and satellite inlets, so satellite in the top, cable in the bottom, so just a coax cable to plug into the respective ports, fire up at your TV location inside. City water connection right here, so your water hose is just going to plug into there, turn on the water, and that'll pressurize the lines throughout the unit. To the left of that is your freshwater connection, so you're just going to take that same water hose and stick it into there, turn on the water, and that fills up your freshwater tank. Again, you know that tank is full once it starts spitting water out of the vent down below. Down on the bottom is kind of a little exterior shower here, so you get this hose to go with it. You're going to notice these two ears right there. They're going to line up with the little spaces there. Kind of press them in, give it a little eighth turn, that clicks it into place, and then you just get the garden hose end there. Hot and cold water, simple as that. Once you're done, you're going to press it in, you can pull it out of there, and then before you store it away, you just want to extend it out, make sure you get all the water out, and then we can stuff it back in. To the right of that is a black tank flush, so you may notice over time after having gone and dumped out that black tank, your monitor panel is still reading a third or two-thirds, whatever it may be. Typically it's just some debris inside of your tank hanging between the probes, so what you're going to do is just take your water hose and plug it into there, open up that black valve and turn on the water, and that'll just flush out that tank, getting rid of any sort of debris that could be causing that issue. And then lastly in here is just going to be your little battery disconnect, so with that pushed in, that's your battery disconnected. With it pulled out, that's your battery reconnected. This little plug down here, you can pull that out, get it off to the side, and then you can run all of your cables, all of your hoses, anything like that up through the bottom. That way you can still close your compartment while you're out camping. Just ahead of that, you're going to find a water hose here. So inside of that water hose is also a park adapter I was telling you about. It's your 30 amp cord into there, 15 to a standard outlet. Inside of here, you've also got your manual overrides. This one here is going to be for your stabilizer jacks. So that'll just run onto the end. Has a little kind of rod there that it attaches onto. You can run them up and down if you were to lose battery power. And then this manual jack right here, I'm pretty sure is for your front tongue jack actually. So once we're done, we can just slam this shut. Towards the front, this little black box up on the frame there with that red light, that's your tire pressure monitor sensor sender. So that'll be sending information to the little handheld unit that you hold inside of your tow vehicle. Your battery is housed inside of this box here, so as long as you're plugged into that short cord in the back or your 7-pin to your tow vehicle, that battery is charging for you. These two knobs here, if you loosen them off, you can push them back and you get access to your propane tanks. For the video, you can pull this right up. And then we can show you right in the back here, so you get your little changeover there. It's currently green, just letting us know that we've got propane in the system. Our arrow's pointing over here, so we're running off of this tank right now. If that green were to turn red while you got a tank open, it's just letting you know that tank's gone empty. So at that point, you just close it off, flip your arrow here over to the other tank, and run off of the one tank while you get the other one filled. I showed you that manual override for your tongue jack. Well, that's going to go right in here. Just remove that rubber plug, and there's the fitting for it. You can run your tongue jack up and down if you were to lose power. As long as you've got power, you do have the light up front here though, so the light switch is on the left, turns on that light down below, and then the switch on the right there, up is down and down is up. The cover just slits back in place. There we go. Other end of the unit here, we've got the other side of your storage compartment. So as you open that up, you can see it does just see straight through to the other side. Inside of here, there is a little light up in the front wall there. There's a switch up top is a dual function switch. So over to the left is going to be a single function, so that's it just turned on. With it over to the right, that's it on dual function, where it'll turn on with the motion sensor. So as soon as it doesn't sense motion for a minute or two, it turns itself off. Once it does find motion, it turns back on automatically. You do have more of those lights throughout the unit, and so once we get inside the unit, I'll be able to show you that switch a bit better once we get in there. And back on this wall here, we've got your stabilizer switch. So as you press and hold extend, the stabilizer will make its way down. So you'll notice with these guys, they don't level, they just equalize. So if you're to put on something underneath there, it's just stabilizing the unit, not leveling. Once it's down all the way, you'll just hear that kind of whine on the motor. It'll stop right there. Just like that. If you were to continue extending and trying to lift the unit up with these guys, you will actually strip the gears right out of the electric motors, so we don't want to be doing that. Right? Little leash latch here, so if you got the dog out with you, you can tie him down. Bottle opener by the door here. Another step back and we see your two exterior speakers there. Straight down below them, we've got the Gfi Protected Outlet. Right. And beside that is a TV or cable and satellite outlet. So if you're looking to mount the TV outside, you got the power to do so. Exhaust for your furnace back here, so if you're ever running your furnace, you just want to make sure that's not blocked off. It does get hot. And then in the back here, we got your exterior kitchen. So that'll just pop on open. You get the magnetic latches, hold it open for you. On the right side here, you got a 120 volt fridge. So as long as you're plugged in, that fridge is going for you. The storage compartment across the top here. Top and center, you do have a little light there, just in its own center push button with the power outlet right in the back. For your kitchen here, you're just going to undo that travel latch, you can slide it on out, and then you get the travel latches in the back just to lock it into place. Then your stove on the right side here, so that just flips on up. You get the couple of wings here, that'll fold on out as well. Just kind of sit down in place, prevent any sort of wind from coming through. Then your hose over here, so you get that quick connect, you're just going to pull that collar back and you can undo it. Underneath the stove, you're going to find a little hose here, so we'll attach our hose onto there. And then right in the back of the unit here, you got your attachment for it. So you got that dust cap you're going to pull out, you're going to push that collar back and you can attach your hose. Then you have that valve back here, we'll open up that valve. With that valve opened up, you cannot undo that quick connect, so it's just kind of an added safety. You have to have the flow of propane turned off before you can undo that hose. So with it open, we can come up to our stove here now. Press your knob in, turn it over to light, hit it with a sparker, and then you can see she fires right up. Now the first time you go to use your propane system, it will take a minute for this guy to fire up, just because it's going to have to clear all the air out of the propane lines before it can. It's perfectly normal. So once you're done, you're going to let it cool down, and you're going to flip these wings up and in, fold it back down, undo our hose from the stove, close off that valve, undo it from the unit, and then I just like to attach it to itself, just ensures that nothing's getting in there. Put that dust cap back in place, and then the hose, as you saw, is just going to be stored inside of your little sink here. So for this sink, you get the same sort of 2-ear attachment that you had at that shower. You press it in, licks into place, and there you go. Hot and cold water out here. The sink does not have a drain. You're just pulling it out and dumping it out as you need. Simple as that. It's the same thing with this guy here. Once you are done with it, you do just want to straighten it out, get all the water out, and you can fold it up, store it back away. Undo our travel latches here. Turn off that light up top. Push it back on, and lock it back down. Okay, so now we'll go to the back of the unit. Back here you've got your water tank. So you just get that keyway right there, you're going to line that up. So you're just going to line that up and you can pop it on open. All of your controls for turning this guy on are just inside of the unit. Before we ever turn it on though, we just want to hit that relief valve right there, make sure that shot of water comes out. That bit of water coming out, it's letting you know this tank is full, it's safe to fire it up, and you're not going to burn anything out by doing so. So once we're done, we can just close it back up, lock it down with the keyway. And lastly back here is just your spare tire. Straight up from there, you're going to find your rear observation camera. And then, lastly is actually your switch back here for your rear stabilizer. So it works the exact same as the one up front. You just got your switch right there. So now we'll make our way inside of the unit. Your assist handle just up 90 degrees, falls into place, and then we can open up the door. Door is just on a friction hinge, so it just kind of sits wherever you leave it. Yellow handle here, either way will undo the latches, and you can flip out your legs, your stairs, sorry. For the legs, if you need to extend or retract them, you just have that quick pin right there. You can push that in. You can extend or retract your legs based on your site needs. So as we make our way inside, first things first, you're going to find your fire extinguisher right on the left there. So that's standard. Pull the pin, point, and shoot. Straight up from there, you've got your control panel here. So this light switch on the right does a couple of scare lights up front of the unit. We can show you those in a minute here. One in the center does your awning light outside. And then the one on the left there does all of your interior lights. So for the scare light up front, we'll just show you that real quick. So it's just to the front of the unit. And you just get your LED strips on either side of the front there. For your awning, that's down in the bottom left corner here. You're going to press and hold out, and that awning will make its way out. And once that awning's fully extended, we're going to see a little white flap come down. Well, it might be black actually. We'll see once we get there. You'll also see the gray of the metal tube. Once we see that, we're going to want to stop. If we were to continue extending, we can actually wind itself up backwards, in which case the fabric will be underneath the tube, allowing it to then hold water, accelerating the growth of mold and mildew. So there's our flap right there. It's kind of gray, and there's the gray tube, so we'll stop right there. Okay. Now if it were to start raining, it's of course going to be holding some water anyways, so what you can do is grab either arm, front or rear, and you're going to make sure this knob here is loosened off. Then we can just pull down on the arm. Then you see that sits in amongst itself. Then you can just tighten down that knob there. And then you see that changes the pitch of the awning out at the head, allowing water to then run off. Now if you like that angle better, because it does give you more shade, you can do the same thing with the arm in the back. Before you bring it back in though, you just want to make sure these knobs are loosened back off and the arms are fully extended, just so that we're not running the risk of bending anything. Then we're going to press and hold in, and that awning will make its way back in. So another thing to keep in mind with your awning is it does catch a lot of wind, so once you get up to about 15-20 kilometers an hour wind, you want to bring it back in, again, just so you're not running the risk of bending your arms. Alright, so while we're waiting on that, I'll show you this light here real quick. So this has that switch that I was telling you about where you have the single function over to the left, and so that turns it on, and then the dual function over to the right where it becomes motion sensing. So I'll just give you a look at that switch here. Alright, so you get the 1 and the 2, simple as that. So there's our awning in, now there's slide outs beside it. We'll press and hold out, and that slide will make its way out. So once that slide's fully extended, we'll hear a couple of whines from the motors, and then they'll turn themselves off automatically. There you go. So your entertainment area here, this light switch off to the side actually does that front bedroom. Your TV is just on a mount, so you got the travel straps there. You can undo those and it pulls on out. On the left side here, you're going to find a power outlet for it, and then right behind that, you've got your antenna outlet for it, which is already hooked up. There's a little button right beside it, turns on that little green light, just lets you know that that antenna is in fact turned on, and that will also help clear up your stereo signal. Above that's your cable and satellite outlet, and beside that we got your thermostat. So press and hold that power button to turn it on. It'll start from wherever you left it at, so cool here. So that'll turn on the air conditioner. For your fan speed, typically you're going to want to just leave that in auto, unless of course you solely want the low or the high fan, then you can select one of the two. Otherwise, I do recommend you just leave that in auto. Temp selection there is of course just with your arrows. With that air conditioner running, you basically got two different options. You can have this louver here closed, in which case we're using all of our ceiling ducting to move the air. Or you can open it up and it just dumps all of its air into the living room here. So when you first get out to your campsite, you want that open, cool off this area as quickly as possible, and then you can close them off and start moving the air throughout. So after cool, if we hit that power button again, it'll come down into heat, we'll turn off the air conditioner, turn on the furnace. For your furnace, you don't have any sort of fan speed selection, there's just one speed, on is on pretty much. Your furnace will be moving its air through all the little black portals that you see throughout the unit. Now the first couple of times you run that furnace, you may get a bit of a smell throughout the unit. That's just the new furnace smell, and it will go away. After furnace, if we hit that again, it comes down into fan. So at this point, you're just selecting your low or your high fan. It's just moving air around. There's no cooling involved in that. After fan, it'll come down into dry. So at this point, it'll run the compressor with the fan on low, just trying to dry out the air in here, get rid of the humidity. After dry, it comes back into cool, and that's probably where I'm going to leave it for a little bit here, just because it is scorching hot inside of this thing right now. Up into the bedroom. Get your emergency exit here. So actually the blinds throughout the unit are just on a tension system, so they just kind of sit wherever you leave them. For the emergency exit, you're pulling that red tab to get to the screen, taking this handle here, throwing it outside, hopping on out. A little bit of storage off to the side here, identical storage compartment on the other side. Also above each head, you do get a little light there, just on its own center push button. Right. The pocket doors here as well, so if we just got your travel latches right in the center there, so you just pop those up and you can slide your doors. You do also get a little V-mount, TV mount back here, so if you're looking to have TV, you got it. Right up above it, you're going to find your cable and satellite outlet for it. And if we pick up the foot of your bed, you do get access to your storage compartment in here. And then just real quickly, I'll run over to the other side, just to show you your bit of closet space here. And then right above my head, you got a pre-wire for Wi-Fi and 4G LTE. So down below your TV, we've got your stereo here. So you got the power button front and center, turn that on. Mode will just cycle through all your modes, of course. So you can get into radio here. You got your volume control over to the side there. Got your down, up, and then mute. Zone 1 is the soundbar itself. Zone 2 is your outside set of speakers. If you press select, you can get through all your settings. And then your seeks and your pause and play over the other side there. Power button, turn it back off. Bit of storage down below that. And then into the kitchen here. So you get your storage up top. That binder there has all of your owner's manuals, any keys, any remotes, anything like that for the unit, you'll find right in there. Down below that cupboard, you do have another little center push button light there. Single basin sink with the mobile head, hot and cold water, of course. A little bit of storage down below that, just being mindful of our drains and our water lines. You don't want to be breaking any of that. And then in your drawer storage here, you're going to find that TPMS mounted monitor that you put up in your truck there. And then just all the drawers down below that. Microwave up top here, it's pretty standard, just like home, not much I'm going to teach you there. Down below that we got your range vent, so your fan on the left there, that's that fan that you want turned on, evacuating any fumes for your stove here. The bifold cover just flips on back. Then you're going to take that knob there, push it into that little flame, hit it with a sparker, and she fires right up. Now like I said outside, if you've been away from the unit for a while, it will take a minute for these guys to fire up. That is again just normal. Cover flips back down. On the right side here you get a switch. If you press that up, the single function does all the knobs, the dual function does your knobs and your oven. The oven itself, as we open that up, you got this knob on the right there. You're going to turn it over to that little flame, hit it with a sparker, and then you see that little pilot light gets going in the back there. Once you get that pilot light going, you just want to hold the knob in for another couple of seconds, then you can release and the flame will hold itself. Turn up to your desired temperature and she fires right up. Once we're done, we can turn it back down just a pilot. It'll hold just the pilot light for you. But if you're traveling or leaving the unit for a while, you just want to make sure it's right off. Down below your oven is your converter. Press the top and center and she pops on open. You get all of your breakers down the middle here. Whenever a breaker breaks, it's going to sit in the center, so just turn it off and then back on to reset it. And on the right side, we get all of your fuses. Whenever a fuse pops, you'll get a little red LED right beside it, letting you know exactly which one went. Beside that, we got your 12-volt fridge here. So this is fully 12 volts. As long as your batteries are charged or charging, this guy's going for you. Freezer up top here. Temp controls right in the back. Fridge down below. Temp selection is just right across the top there. Down from there, we got the return air for your furnace. So if you're ever running your furnace, you just want to make sure it's not blocked off. It does get hot. Above my head, here's a little roof vent. So you're just turning that knob to open it up. Simple as that. In the bunk space here, you do get a little light up on the side. Again, center push button, power outlet down here, and then the one down below it has a USB outlet. Otherwise, they are identical. Doghouse storage down below. And then a little bit of pantry space here as well. And then we'll come up into the bathroom. So in the bathroom here, you have those same sort of dual function switches. And then your medicine cabinets here. Down below that, we're going to find your hot water tank controls on the right here. So the switch on the right has that little flame in the bottom, just lets us know we're firing it up on propane. Hit that switch right there, fires it up on propane. If you were to get that little red light there to come on, it's just letting you know it hasn't fired up, so at that point just off and back on to reset it. Left side there is got the little thunderbolt underneath, letting us know that we're firing up that hot water tank with electricity. Then beside that, we got your monitor system, so your water pump's down in the bottom corner here, so we turn that on, turns on your water pump, drawing out of your fresh tank to pressurize your lines. Up above that is your monitor system, so we've got battery here, so you can see we're currently C for charging, G would be good, F is fair, L is low. For your fresh tank, as you fill that up, you go to a third, 2/3, and full. Same idea for your black and your gray. Hot and cold water at the sink, of course, bit of storage down below that. Right beside that is your GFI Protected Outlet. Test in the left, reset in the center. So if you ever have outlets that don't work, it's the first thing you should check. And your toilet here just flips on up. You got your flusher front and center there. Straight up from there, you're going to find your roof vent back here. It's the same sort of knob, just opens it up. In the back corner, you got a switch, turns on the fan. And then for the shower, you just get your travel latch over here, so you're just going to slide that up and you can slide your doors. And then you can see there you got the standard, the stainless head and hose. A bit nicer of a head than what is standard. And then of course, hot and cold water. Once you're done, you're just going to make sure those are closed all the way, get the travel latch clipped in, and that's that. So lastly is going to be your two detectors here. So we got, of course, fire, so right up here. And then propane, which is right down there. So propane's heavier than air, it'll sit on the floor. That guy detects it, starts going off just like a smoke detector. And then very lastly, we've got your dinette here. So that light up there just on its own side push button. Your dinette currently set up as a dinette, right? If you're ready for, going to bed or whatever, you can take this bed or this table here, just wiggle it up. You'll get it out of the legs. The legs will do the same thing. They'll just wiggle out of their bases. Then you can see you kind of got the ledges going all the way around your dinette here. Your table will then sit onto that. You'll take those that one back cushion as well as these two side cushions. Sorry, the one back cushion as well as this filler cushion to fill in the dinette and create a bed. So that's about it for this unit. So if you've got any other questions on it, please feel free to give us a call, 204-237-7272.